Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of The Director's Cut, brought to you by the Directors Guild of America, where each episode we bring you a fresh and insightful interview featuring one of the film industry's top directors, conducted by one of their peers. You can subscribe to our podcast on Google Play Music, iTunes, Stitcher, or on our SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/thedirectorscut. And if you're enjoying The Director's Cut, please take a moment to like, share, or comment. We love hearing your feedback. This episode takes us behind the scenes of director Denis Villeneuve's new sci-fi thriller, Blade Runner 2049. Picking up 30 years after the events of Ridley Scott's classic Blade Runner, the film follows Kay, an LAPD officer who discovers a long-buried secret that could plunge what is left of society into chaos. His discovery leads him on a quest to find Rick Deckard, a former LAPD officer who has been missing for 30 years. In addition to Blade Runner 2049, Mr. Villeneuve's filmography includes the feature films Sicario, Enemy, Prisoners, Maelstrom, and Incendies, as well as the short films 120 Seconds to Get Elected, Next Floor, and Rated R for Nudity. Villeneuve was nominated for the DGA Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Feature Film and the Academy Award for Best Directing for his 2016 feature Arrival. Following a recent screening of the film at the DGA Theater in Los Angeles, Mr. Villeneuve spoke with director Rian Johnson about filming Blade Runner 2049. During their conversation, Mr. Villeneuve discusses how he brought on cinematographer Roger Deakins during the storyboard process to help envision the film, how he used the first Blade Runner as a Bible to keep himself grounded in the original story, and his work on the film's sound design during principal photography, which is something he's always wanted to do in his career.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys for being here. What an incredible film. Congratulations. It's a beautiful movie in so many different ways, and I've got a bunch of questions. Just want to pick your brain about how you work, because again, there are many levels in which this movie is beautiful. Even just on a craftsmanship level, it's humbling watching this. It's incredible. But I want to start with the most boring, ordinary first Q&A question, but I am actually curious. How did you end up directing a Blade Runner movie? How did it all start?
Yeah, coming from you. Okay. No. The thing is, the project was written by and for Ridley Scott, and the thing is that Ridley had a lot of things on his cooking in the same time, and Harrison Ford was like anxious to start the project, and so Ridley was working on finishing The Martian, going on into Alien Covenant, and so they decided, the producer and Ridley decided to reach for someone else. And then I had made a movie previously with Alcon called Prisoners, and we had a great experience together. So they, to my great surprise, they approached me. I remember Andrew Kosov sent me a message saying, "I need to meet you in a place where nobody will see us." And that was the beginning of the insane adventure of where Secret will be and I met him, and he put an envelope in front of me, and he said, and it was written Queensboro on it, and he said, "Queensboro doesn't exist." And I was like, and it's this. It said this is Blade Runner project, and I was really moved that I was honestly, sincerely moved that they had that amount of trust in me. I mean, that honestly, it was by far one of the most beautiful compliments I ever received. And then I didn't sleep for 2 months. Thinking, do I do it or not? Because
2 months?
No, but it took me a long time before I said yes, because I there was several things. I was finishing Sicario at the time. I was supposed to do Arrival. There was some schedule conflicts, and I wasn't sure. I mean, what convinced me was the screenplay, but first I had to make sure that I feel that I will be able to do it, and I had to make peace with the idea that I could be damned forever by the cinematic community that I was
can't imagine. I can't imagine.
yeah, it's like I could be crucified by. So I had to make peace with the idea that if I was doing this project, it will be just by pure love for the first movie. That is a very important movie for me, and that I will do it just as a pure artistic gesture, not waiting for any reward or accolades, or just trying to make it for the act of cinema itself, which is the way Ryan Gosling approached it. That's why we right from the start we say, okay, our chances of success are insanely small, so let's just embrace that and find back our freedom.
Well, it's funny. I mean, Blade Runner, the original. I think for a lot of people of our generation, it's one of the few movies. It's beloved, but there's a lot of movies that are beloved. But it's one of the few movies that when people describe the first time they saw it, they talk about it like falling in love. There is something very elusive and emotional about the way it grabbed a lot of us when we were young, I think, and I thought a lot about it. During the film, and it was maybe because the relationship of creating something, a new piece of work out of something that you have a relationship to in the past has been on my mind lately. The scene where the new version of Rachel is coming out of the darkness, and she's describing it. It was hard for me not to. Obviously, there was a real emotional content to the scene. It wasn't just a meta thing. It was hard for me not to read a meta kind of layer to that of this thing that you once loved coming out of the darkness towards you. And it looks like what you once loved? Is it what you once loved? Is it, how are you going to react to it? I don't know. There was something very powerful even just on that meta level for me. What was it? I mean, talk a little bit about during the actual creative process, your relationship to the original and to how it complicates and enrich and makes richer and challenges, creating something that's your own.
Yeah, it's a very strange experience for me. It was usually I make my movies are inspired by life or a book or something that is outside of the cinema circle, and this was the first time I was making a movie inspired by another movie, and I didn't try to stay away from it. I just kept it as a Bible, as a reference, as a music that I was very close to me, that I was always referring to every time I was directing, every day thinking about the spirit of the first movie.
Would you watch the first movie while you were?
Yeah,
would you go home at night and
I did a few times, and it was a way to know where I was going too far, where I needed to be grounded, where I need to keep the roots. The roots needed to stay in contact with the first movie all the time, even if I was. It was just reassuring for me, and that's what I was saying.
It's and I'm sure I'm sure you've talked a lot about. It's hard to talk about the film without talking about Roger Deakins and talking about the work that you guys did, the work that he did in this, the work you did together. It's interesting, like because visually you guys achieved something incredible where it's so evocative of the original film. It doesn't feel like it's imitating the original film, but he evokes it. It was so strange, though. I realized partway into it and I don't know if there's a total lack of grain or if you guys did add some grain, but I've never suddenly the cleanness of the image became really important to me in terms of its relationship to the old film, which I associate with grain and kind of a grit and grain. And the fact that this was the same, but it felt clean and that it had that differentiating factor that was always there was very interesting and very powerful to me. It made it feel like this was a new lens looking at the same world, I guess.
I see what you mean.
But anyway, I was just pontificating. I apologize. I'm sorry.
No. But it's very difficult what he's doing right now because he just saw the movie with you guys, and then he has to intellectualize and make it like. What will happen if you ate the movie?
If I ate the movie, what are you talking about?
No.
If I absolutely hated it, I would probably change my name and move. I would have no idea what I would move to Las Vegas and take up residence in the dusty old. But talk about working with deacons and how the process might be different. First of all, visually, you strike me as someone who probably storyboards. Do you?
Yeah, the thing is that it's what I will say is that the input of Roger Deakins was very, very important in this movie, because I was like in prep, of course, as you know, as you guys know, it's like a movie like that requires a lot of prep and a lot of dreaming state. And at the time I was finishing Arrival and time was flying, and I was saying to myself, I need to have, right from the start, usually I do that alone, but this time I need to have someone who have a dialogue with. I need to bounce ideas. And someone that I totally trust, someone that I respect, Roger came on board very quickly, right from the start. He landed in Montreal and spent several weeks, even a few months there with me in a hotel room in Montreal with 2 storyboard artists, and we drew the whole movie.
So he was with you, like, for the whole storyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. We did it together, but more important than that, we define what will be the laws of this world, how the climate will have affected the world, the geopolitics, the geography, the sociologic aspect of this world, every economic aspect, everything we decided together. And that, for me, that was the biggest gift of all, because first I was able to share the dream with a close friend, and after that work evolved, of course, as we went to Budapest, but Denis Gassner, the production designer, came on board at one point with us and stayed in Montreal, and we basically the Bible of the movie was born there, all the laws and the initial dream. And one thing about Roger is that when he understands what is my vision precisely, and we found tons of reference, visual, and then he will fight until death. So it's on the screen, and it's something that. So it's on the day, but also with visual effects. He helped me tremendously he was there from day one until the very last minute, working on as hard as I did on the movie. Yeah. So this movie owes a lot to Roger. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Because not only is in so many of the so many of the locations, the lighting is built into the sets. They're inseparable.
Yeah, we were basically. I was in a room designing the sets with Roger and Denis Gassner, the 3 of us drawing, so that they will embrace what my needs and Roger's needs in the same time to what we wanted to express visually, and that was a privilege to do that right before, long time before the prep started. Yeah.
And that's often the case, but it makes sense what you're describing also, because thematically it feels like the visuals and the lighting is baked into this movie in a way that is also inseparable from the thematics of the world. Anyway, did you use miniatures for some of the landscape work and bigotries?
Yeah. The thing is that we wanted to have like a kind of old-fashioned approach. We built all the sets, and listen. The thing is that we talked a lot about it in the press, because I did press for a year, and I was not allowed to talk about the movie. So
I also can't imagine.
No. So you will soon, and it's painful. And so at one point you start to find stories. So it's I know it's like it's normal to build the sets. Through the past decades, it's like people are used to build sets. It's just that in the recent time, there is some people are working with virtual environments, and that I didn't want to do that. So, what was the question about?
Well, as originally, actually, I want to talk about the sets, set
the
work and stage work. But I was asking about the miniatures for the flyover shots.
Yeah, we did. that was very moving because for me, I was dreaming to do that since a long time, to use like the Weta. New Zealand constructed those insane, tall, huge, beautiful miniatures for the movie, and that was a privilege to work this way. We tried as much as possible to do everything on camera. There's tons of CG in the movie, but to try as much as possible so we constructed all the sets and to use real vehicles and try to. So Roger will have total control over the environment, the atmospheres, the lighting, and everything. Yeah.
You can feel it in the movie. Like it feels very. I mean, it's obviously very stylized, but at the same time, it all feels very tactile and very grounded. So you shot in Budapest.
Exactly, because London was not available anymore because of you. But because it's London is really invaded by the Empire now. So
the resistance, we're the resistance.
But and we needed a lot of. Basically, the world is divided between Star Wars and Marvel right now, and DC. You know, so you have to find your place where you can find the. We needed a lot of sound stages.
Was it mostly stage work and built sets? Did you do any location work at all?
Yeah. The thing is that Budapest offered one of the reasons we went there also is that there was some the architecture I was looking for. There was a lot of buildings like that there, so we shot a few scenes outside in the street at night time, but the rest is shot on soundstage. Yeah.
Is the building that Deckard's in? Is that?
That's one of the buildings. Yes. That is in downtown, and that was crazy because it was a huge structure, huge building that I don't know about here, but in Canada it will be considered as heritage, and there we were allowed to do basically what we wanted because it's a building that was like in renovation, and so it was a privilege, a chance. Yeah.
That's cool. The performances in the movie are beautiful, and I mean, obviously, Harrison Ford's performance in this is absolutely gorgeous. And if you grew up loving Blade Runner and reading everything you could about it, I just know from all of that you come to get this image in your head of the original film being a process that was very difficult, and that he. There's famous stories I know just from film mythology about, him not having a great time doing it, which I don't know, could be true, could be not. But what was your experience in terms of he came to you, so he was already on board with it. What was your experience working?
But the thing is that it was a different experience. Ridley, when he did the first one, I think was struggling with producers. He had to fight the system, and I was protected by the producers. So I had a nice because they are friends basically. Let's say that and Harrison. For me, it was one of the toughest thing to bring back his character. To bring back a character that is so iconic, and that so I right from the start I said to him, I need to do this with you. I need you. I need your input. You created that character. I would love, if possible, if you could do this with me, not come on set and I think he was really excited about the idea of that process of collaboration. And it was what moved me about Harrison Ford is that several things, but one of them is that his passion about filmmaking is totally intact. He's like every day on set, like if it was a second movie, it's like he loves to work. He loves the filmmaking process deeply, and I mean, at 5 a.m. in the gigantic pool, cold outside, he was the one with the highest spirit, cheering up everybody. I mean, it's very moving to see him. All know when your main cast is very, very positive, and it transformed the atmosphere on set a lot. Yeah,
that's so cool to hear, man. That is so awesome. It's also, I mean, besides the visuals, I have to say it's the best sounding movie I've heard in a long, long time. I thought the sound design and the mix was absolutely stunning with it.
I'm very happy you are saying so, because one thing I'm quite proud of the sound of the movie. It's first. I always dreamed when I was doing indie movies. I didn't like the idea of doing the image and then to do the sound after. I was always frustrated, and it was a long dream of mine to do both in the same time. So Joe Walker and we hired Theo Green as we were shooting, a sound designer that started to create sound for the editing room as we were shooting, and so he worked basically the sound design. It was a year of work. We have Theo Green that started, and then Mark Mangini came on board right after we finished shooting, and they worked hard to create every single sound that will be part of this project, will be original and part of this universe, paying homage to the first movie, because I was saying I felt that I took a lot of liberties visually, but I felt that I needed the sound to be very close to the spirit of the first movie, to have the same kind of qualities, and the music too. So the sound, it was I'm very, very grateful to I work with strong artists for the sound.
Yeah, it was the type of sounds mix and sound design where every single, like when he found that little box when he was about to open it, I found myself actively anticipating what is that tiny sound going to be when he opens it? Just the level of detail in every single sound being so delicious, I guess. Besides the big stuff, which blew our ears out and was fantastic, the tiny little things and the balance of those and the amount of quiet in the movie, I guess.
I believe the good ideas, sometimes they need time to make sure that's the right idea, and you live with the image for so long in the editing room. And I love this time to have the chance to live with the sounds, to let them go through time, to listen to them 100 times and make sure that it's the right sound. And no, it's really an experience I would love to, if I have the chance to do it again this way.
Yeah, to have that level of collaboration with it, that's fantastic. In the editing room, how do you work? Are you assembling as you shoot?
Joe Walker came in Budapest and did the assembly, and then I stay in contact with him, looking at what is going on. So basically, for me, shooting and editing is two total different mindset. It's like one is hunting, the other one is cooking, and I cannot do it both in the same time. It's like, but I like to know if I'm in the right direction, if I'm missing something, and Joe is a strong ally. But so I just want to know if what we are doing makes sense, And
would you go in at night and look at what he was
a little
together,
bit, but it's a bit a little bit. But then when I finish the shoot, then I'm with him in the editing room for a month, which is honestly one of my favorite parts. If I wasn't a director, I would be definitely editor. I deeply love editing. It's like.
Did you cut your own stuff when you were younger? When you were making stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, you started out editing. At what point did you find? Because I know it was similar for me. I always cut my own. I cut even the first film I did. At what point did you find a working relationship with an editor that clicked for you?
The thing is that for my first feature, I realized that there's a lot of people that are specialists, and that the dialogue is stronger than to be alone. I mean, I have some friends of mine are strong directors, and they edit their own movies, and I respect that, I admire them. But me, I feel that at the end of the day, I have to put my ego aside, and it's the relationship with the editor makes the edit stronger. There's and it's more fun too.
Yeah,
I mean,
keeps you from going nuts.
Yeah, exactly. No, I will not be able to. I don't want to do that. The cinema is a collective act of creativity. That's what the thing that deeply moves me about it is, that to share creativity with someone else. So the month I'm spending in the dark with Joe Walker for me are priceless. I mean, it's like, and he's honestly a much stronger editor than me. The key is to always surround yourself with stronger people. I mean, he's a much stronger than me. Deakins is. I used to do camera when I was. Of course, Deakins is a billion times better than me. It's a good thing to surround yourself by stronger artists. So I have to run fast.
Do you keep the same folks around you typically, film to film? Do you keep like a family
try,
of people?
Slowly, yes. Yeah.
What was the big? In terms of. I'm going to ask just like a kind of a wonky process question, because the one thing that as a director, you never really get to see other directors work. So I'm just curious about the day-to-day workflow on a set for you. So do you show up, you've got your storyboards, do you, first of all, I guess, backing up, did you get rehearsal time with the cast before you started shooting?
Not really. I'm not a big fan of rehearsals. I love to talk. To be alone with an actor for a few days, going through the scenes, going through the dialogue, talking. But I love the spontaneity on set.
Spontaneity on set.
Spontaneity. The spontaneity. At the same time, if I feel that an actor needs to rehearse, I will do it. But I think I'm lazy, or I don't know. But it's like I love the spontaneity. I love a lot. I'm coming from the documentaries, and that's the thing where I get my fix is when I'm surprised suddenly by an idea coming out of an actor's intuition right on set. He think, what about this? And then it's something that it was not planned. And if I feel that it can create a strong cinematic image, then and Roger feels the same. That's where I think we get along so much. It's like in those moments where we are out of the plan and we are the actors are doing something that deeply inspired us, and those are my favorite moments. Yeah.
That makes. I feel the same way, and that makes a lot of sense thinking about your movies. They're because they feel so tightly designed, and yet they don't feel ever restricted or closed in. They have that feeling of kind of anything could happen in any moment, I guess. They never feel. And I wonder, though, on set, in terms of, okay, so you don't rehearse much in terms of blocking out the scenes, in terms of figuring out, because your shots all feel so perfect. How do you, what's the actual...
And there's things, it's a movie like that, of course, as you know, it's all storyboarded, all planned, because all the sets are constructed and for specific angles and specific, all the effects. Again, it's very important, and one of the reasons I wanted to have the real sets is to have space to have that spontaneity for the mise en scène and for the actors with Roger. So I do the blocking and according to but I'll try all the time to have that space alive every day. Yeah.
Yeah, to find those moments where it really comes to life. That makes a lot of sense. What's you're at the tail end of how long has this whole process been for you now?
2 years, I think, and yes, I lost track of time. I'm seriously, I need to sleep.
Well, congratulations, man. I think we should let the man sleep, but congratulations.
Thank
this
you, Ryan.
is an incredible film.
Merci. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another DGA Q&A. If you'd like to hear more from director Denis Villeneuve, check out episodes 63 through 65, which consist of our Meet the Nominees feature film symposium, where Mr. Villeneuve discusses his film Arrival alongside other DGA Award nominees such as Barry Jenkins and Damien Chazelle. You can find past episodes of The Director's Cut wherever you listen to podcasts. Awards season is in full swing, so be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the great discussions we have coming up. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, share, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for listening, and have a great week. This podcast is produced by the Directors Guild of America Music is by Dan Wally.